How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Split Decision. We had a great fight last night. Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence. It was the fight of the year, possibly the fight of the decade. And it was a split decision. So we're here to talk about it. I'm your host, Aki. To my left is
Professor Nims, the pundit with the PhD in pugilism.
Talk to him. So if you need some education, because your favorite fighter lost last night, you tuning in to the right show because we about to break it down every minute of every single round. So Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter. It was a split decision. Now, do you agree it was a split decision? How did you score the card? Who you had winning? And did Shawn Porter surprise you?
Okay, so I want to say full disclosure is that when I'm usually watching fights, particularly for entertainment, I don't score them. I usually just enjoy the fight, and then I go back and I review the fight, and then based on the tenets of winning boxing, I use that to kind of score fights. So that's ring generalship, defense, effective aggression, and then effective and clean punching. So I felt that Errol Spence did the better work in the fight. I thought that he landed the more cleaning and telling punches in there. I will say that there was some troubling times that I think some of his opponents can pick up on, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. I still think that he rightfully was awarded the victory against Shawn Porter. But it was a close fight, so I don't have an issue with a split decision.
I don't know about that. You know, this show is split decision, but I had a problem with a split decision because I didn't think a judge could have had scored 3 points up for Shawn Porter when the final bell rang. I mean, like Shawn Porter got knocked down in the 11th round. He got hit Errol Spence outlanded him when it comes to the jab, to the power punches, to the body, to the head, you name it. Errol Spence landed the more effective clean punches, and he landed more punches in general and threw, I believe, even less punches. I don't even know if he threw more punches or less punches than Shawn Porter, but I think he threw a little bit less. So my point is he was sharper, obviously, and he landed the more effective blows, and he landed more blows and managed to knock him down. So how can the judge have Shawn Porter 3 rounds up? I had it scored, because I rewatched the fight, I had it scored 4 rounds to Shawn Porter, the rest was to Errol Spence. And plus the knockdown, it created that gap that you just can't have it as a split decision. So it was a close fight, but I mean, Shawn Porter performed well. He impressed me. His stock does go up, even though he lost. Normally, when a fighter loses, his stock go down. But in this fight in particular, his stock did go up. But at the end of the day, there's no moral victories in boxing. I can't just give you more credit because you were trying a little harder. At the end of the day, you got to get the win, and you got to give the scorecard, or when you score a fight, you got to give the round to the fighter that's having better generalship, that's landing the more effective blows, that's having better defense, and that was Errol Spence throughout the fight. So even the rounds that Errol Spence clearly won, Shawn Porter was still in there. That's what made it a great fight. But he did not win them rounds. You know what I'm saying? So so early on, the first 2 rounds, obviously Errol, 3 and 4, Shawn Porter could have took them, but 5 and 6. Errol took him, and then 7, I believe, Shawn Porter showed up, and Errol didn't throw many punches. He kind of took a break in that round, trying to get Shawn Porter to punch himself out and come back harder the next round. And then he kind of took over from there. But it was a good fight, but not how fans stating like, oh, it was a close fight. Some people claiming it was a robbery. Like, it wasn't even that. Even Shawn Porter himself didn't say it was a robbery, and he was the fighter because he knew. I mean, that fight took like 3 years out of his career. So that being said, if you think Shawn Porter beat Errol Spence, that's like saying Luke Campbell beat Lomachenko. Just because Lomachenko stated that was his toughest fight to this day doesn't mean Luke Campbell beat him. He was a good fight, but at the end of the day, Lomachenko was the clear winner. And that's just how I feel about the Shawn Porter fight. And that Shawn Porter that showed up against Errol Spence with that much determination, he will give any welterweight a lot of problems, any welterweight, including Terrence Crawford. However, in my opinion, Terrence Crawford fought the right game plan. I believe.
Not Terrence Crawford.
No, I believe if Shawn Porter fight Terrence Crawford, I believe Terrence Crawford will fight his game plan. Like he won't fight Shawn Porter's game plan.
So you acknowledge that Errol Spence didn't fight with the right game plan, right?
Well, I believe Errol Spence stuck to his word. I mean, he said he wanted a man down because when he boxed Mikey and showed his other side, everybody was like complaining, oh, what happened to the man down model? So he was trying to live up to that. So he stated before the fight, you know, a lot of people will talk a good game before the fight, but when it comes to fight night, they won't fight how they talk before the fight. But Errol Spence stated, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to keep coming forward, and I'm going to stop him. I'm going to look for the knockout. So that's how he fought. So I believe he could have had a better game plan, which is how he fought Bundu. You know, when he fought Bundu, it was a fighter that switched stands, keep moving his head, and he was a shorter fighter. What Errol Spence did, he kept him in the outside, boxed him, and then when Bundu got in the inside, he fought him. But then, you know, he will like keep his distance and try to maintain the fight, you know, at a certain distance.
Yeah, but Bundu's not Shawn Porter. He doesn't. I don't think he has the feet, and I don't think he has athleticism as Shawn Porter. So I think that Errol Spence was able to win, but fought the wrong fight. So part of that is ring generalship. So I think that the judges gave him credit for making Errol Spence fight his fight. You were still supposed to, you know, judge it based off of those, you know, 4 tenets of scoring boxing, but I think he deserves some credit for that. I think that Errol Spence showed some flaws in his game. Particularly, he went straight back against Shawn Porter, and that's a no-no, right? You're supposed to pivot and turn, make him pay, or throw the jab if you're going forward. But if he's coming like that, you're supposed to throw a check right hook and then pivot to the side and keep doing that. Keep turning him, and he didn't do that.
That's the right game plan, which is to box, and that's what he did versus Bundu. Now, like, but when you say Shawn Porter had the ring generalship because he fought his fight, let's be honest here. Errol Spence throughout the fight, I mean the lead up, he told Shawn Porter, I got more dog than you. So when it comes to it, I'm gonna beat you at your own game. And that's what he really did. He fought Shawn Porter fight, and he beat Shawn Porter at his own game. Because that was a Shawn Porter fight, right? And he beat him at his own game. However, as far as the ring generalship, we got to give credit for Errol Spence. How many times he put him on a rope? How many times he put Shawn Porter on the ropes and punished him? And Shawn Porter, to his credit, he would get beat up for a little bit, right? Then he would turn Errol Spence.
Exactly.
But he would not do any damage. Errol Spence will hold him and will nullify it. So
he did enough damage.
Give him credit.
He did enough damage. I haven't really.
I rewatched the fight, and Errol got hit. I mean, I ain't saying like he got hit a lot in that fight. Nobody hit Errol Spence like Shawn Porter did.
That says a lot.
But I'm saying he didn't do as like enough to get a split decision. And in my opinion, like I said, Errol Spence had the ring generalship because he put Shawn Porter on the ropes and punished him. He came forward and didn't step back, backward and lived up to man down model. He just didn't keep him down. He got him down. He got his gloves to touch the canvas, but he couldn't keep him down. But the thing about Errol, the reason he couldn't throw a lot of jabs, like I stated earlier, when you fight Shawn Porter, he was looking to counter Errol Spence's jab. You could tell they trained a lot for that, right?
Yeah.
So when you coming forward, that's why Errol should have fought his game plan, because he could have possibly got the knockout if he fought his game plan. Because when you push for the knockout, that's the quickest way you could get knocked out. Because Errol Spence was walking forward, and he the taller fighter, and he using his jab, right? That's why he wasn't throwing the jab much, because he realized whenever he threw the jab, Shawn Porter would try to slip it. And that would give Shawn Porter a chance to cut the distance, because Errol Spence is stepping forward and Shawn Porter could just get to him quick, right?
Yeah.
Now, if Errol Spence was moving around like you stated earlier and using his jab and stepping backward, now it's a different story. Even if Shawn Porter, slips the jab, it don't matter, because Errol Spence step backwards. So if Shawn Porter tried to cut the distance, that would give Errol Spence a chance to counter him. That's why he should have, boxed more and fought Shawn Porter the way he fought Bundle. But he kind of underestimated Shawn Porter in a way, and Shawn Porter fought a good fight, and he fought his fight. But Errol Spence proved the point, which is, hey, I said I was gonna come to fight, and it was gonna be a great fight. And
he almost lost his belt trying to prove a point. I think that he there was some tactical adjustments that he could have made within a fight that he did, particularly with his jab. When he doubled up the jab and he really stepped into it, I thought he was really effective. So when somebody's countering your jab, usually you want to double up the jab. You want to use feint. You want to get their timing off, and then even counter with the straight left hand, because he's a southpaw in there. And I didn't see that. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but I was calling for that throughout the night. Me and London, shout out to London, who came over to watch the fight with us. But I did have him win the fight. But I will say that this is just kind of a visceral feeling that I walked away with, because I didn't score the fight. I think you said you went back and scored the fight.
It reminded me of the Cotto fight, how like when Floyd fought Cotto and Floyd was on the ropes. Obviously, Floyd has way better defense than Errol, but when Cotto was throwing punches on the ropes, Floyd was kind of like catching a lot of punches. But they were like, Cotto doing, he doing a lot of damage when, he was missing a lot too. Errol was catching a lot of punches, but he was getting hit too. And I don't know if you know this, Shawn Porter's dad, Kenny Porter, told him in the corner, ban the body. Let him hit your body and counter him to the head. So he was giving up the body to catch Errol Spence to the head. So fighting somebody like that, that's tough, man. Somebody giving up the body, so you could hit him to the body because Errol Spence is a taller fighter. So obviously he was going to dig down, and then that's give Shawn Porter an opportunity to counter upstairs. And he did that a couple times, which I believe that kind of slowed down Shawn Porter in the later rounds, because
I think that's a terrible tactic.
Because you don't want Errol Spence to bang that body, especially while throwing a punch, because you're exhaling. So that you could get knocked out to the body like that. But he told Shawn Porter that, and Shawn Porter did it. Surprisingly. So I'm just saying, Shawn Porter did everything he can to win the fight, but Errol Spence, let's be honest, beat him at his own game, and he outlanded him with jabs. Even though we stated he didn't throw as many, because I believe, like I said, he saw that. It's hard because Shawn is awkward and move his head. And, even when they in the inside, you stated he was off balance most of the night. But that's because Shawn Porter pushing you in the inside using his weight. So Errol Spence was trying to stand his ground the whole night, And it made it a great fight, but I believe Errol Spence could have made it. Like, it reminded me of how Floyd Mayweather fought Maidana the first time. He stayed toe-to-toe, which made it a close fight. Then in the rematch, what Floyd Mayweather did?
Yeah, but that was an old Floyd.
Yeah, but what Floyd Mayweather did in a rematch when he fought his fight? He just boxed and outboxed Maidana and made him look ordinary. So I'm saying Errol
he also got hurt in that fight.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was not as close as the first fight though.
He won, but we're talking about a fighter who is supposed to be in his prime, who they are comparing to Sugar Ray Leonard. I've never liked that comparison. I don't see that. We can talk about that later. But this is somebody who is supposed to be. I think you have him. Well, we both have him in our top 5 pound for pound in there. So I just wanted to see a little bit more out of him. Particularly with his jab, I didn't really like he was pushing his jab sometimes, and he has a better jab, the more educated jab. But I thought that Shawn Porter's jab was more quick twitch.
But he outlanded Shawn Porter when it comes to the jab.
Yeah, I mean he's a big guy, he's a longer guy. I mean I'm not impressed by that.
Let's be honest here though. Who would look good against Shawn Porter? The Shawn Porter that showed up tonight with that determination. He was willing to get knocked out. Like, the man was willing to get knocked out to win this fight. He stated he was willing to die in the ring. So he was very determined, and he's very awkward. Shawn Porter, the Shawn Porter that showed up tonight, and let's not forget, Errol Spence didn't hold much. Matter of fact, Shawn Porter held more than Errol Spence did. And, you know, we can't forget Errol Spence. He did get dirty, too. That's my guy, but he was throwing some serious low blows when the referee was on the other side. But he got dirty with Shawn Porter. He showed that he has a different element. It reminded me, because it's funny, you said you don't like comparison between Sugar Ray Leonard and Errol Spence, but peep this, right? I remember the time when they were calling Sugar Ray Leonard a pretty boy, right? And then when he fought Duran, even though he lost that fight, they were like, man, this dude could fight. This dude ain't no pretty boy. Errol Spence the same way. Like, throughout his career, they're like, man, he never faced adversity. Like, and then look at him tonight. I mean, last night, he showed that he a dog in there. And he showed that he got more game and more dog than Shawn Porter, because he beat Shawn Porter at his own game.
I don't think that was a question.
I'm saying, but it's in a way, it's like, you know how people thought, like, oh, Sugar Ray Leonard, he's just is a pretty boy. Like, people think of Errol Spence, he ain't all that. He ain't that tough. When you look at him from the outside,
he used to be the boogeyman of the division.
He is the boogeyman of the division. But funny, tables turn, because he became the money man of the division. But I'm talking about the perception of him as far as, oh, look at how he fought Mikey. And you look at how he fought this fight and came on top. You got to give him a bunch of credit, even though, like I said, me and you thought he was going to knock him out in the 10th or 11th round. He almost did. He knocked him down. But like I said, I thought he was more going to fight his own game plan, which is going to be like, you know, it seemed like he was trying to prove a point. He didn't like Shawn Porter. He was trying to knock his ass out. And I just feel like if he would have boxed him and fought him just like how he fought Bundu, I think he would have got the stoppage and made it a little prettier. Even Kenny Porter stated that. But the fact that he made it, the man was so stationary, he didn't even move. He was just walking forward, didn't even make a step back. So it made it that much closer of a fight, and it made it a good fight. But like I said, Shawn Porter, a lot of punches he threw, Errol Spence caught, and he was returning at the same time. And he landed the more effective punches. That's why I just don't see Shawn Porter winning the fight. You know what I mean? And the judge needed to be questioned, because even though it was a close fight, but at the end of the day, Errol Spence outlanded him in every, like I'm talking about category, like body shots, head shots, jabs. He landed the more effective punches, and he knocked him down. So how can you have the fight scored? Like, how can you give Shawn Porter 9 rounds to 10 rounds? Like, that's impossible. Can you give Shawn Porter 9 to 10 rounds in that fight? Like, there's no way.
I don't know, but one thing, you score a fight round by round, so you don't look at it in its totality. And you got to remember, each of the judges, they're not sitting beside each other. They're sitting on at
different locations
at each side, different sides of the ring. Yeah. So they all see different fights. I mean, they see particularly a different fight, but a lot of people had it close.
Yeah, but
I think Yahoo had it 114, 113, meaning the only difference in it was the knockdown.
Yeah, they tripping. Let me tell you something. Okay, it's like this. It's not the fact. Errol Spence only got, I think Shawn Porter outlanded Errol Spence only in the third, third, fourth, and seventh round, and maybe another round. Like, it's 3 to 4 rounds that Shawn Porter outlanded him. Mm-hmm. That's the only time. So throughout, Errol Spence outlanded him every round and landing more effective punches at the same time. That's like, and being a good ring generalship by cutting off the ring, punishing him.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that. I feel like I said, definitely he could have fought better, but I think he's gonna be. Do you think he's gonna be a better fighter, like, from this experience? Because I think he's gonna learn from this. Because he gonna need to start using his footwork, pivoting while throwing right hooks, more so how he fought Mikey, but mix it up. You know, you don't gotta go forward the whole night. You know, you don't gotta go Mexican style over here. You know, this was Mexican style if you ask me. But I'm saying, like, he could use. You got to know when to do both. You know, you fight in the inside. He should have fought in the inside at his own time when he wanted to, and kept it in the outside when Shawn Porter, wanted to get in the inside. That's how I felt about the situation.
Yeah, I mean, particularly from learning from this fight, I think that he can become a better fighter. One, that he knows that he can go 12 hard, gritty rounds. I don't think anybody really has really questioned his heart in a sense. But his stamina was there. He was there all 12 rounds. He was dancing at one point, I think, coming out for the 10th round.
And he had Shawn Porter kind of gassed out by the later rounds, even though Shawn Porter's the man that.
Yeah, it is. That probably had a lot to do with the body work that he put in, because that takes a lot out of you. I think that if he goes and looks at some of the things that he could have done better to make the fight easier, then to me as a boxer, I think that your number one priority is to win, and then to win taking the least amount of punishment. I'm sorry, this is a very brutal sport. And if you want to increase your longevity in the sport and also your quality of life outside of it, I don't see why fighters get caught up in that bravado, which is why I love Floyd Mayweather, because he was a master. And so that kind of, I'm gonna sit there and do this to kind of prove something. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that's just
I mean that is true. You know, he definitely shouldn't have got caught up in all the hype. You still got to fight your fight, and it would have still been entertaining. I mean,
absolutely.
Obviously less entertaining, but things, takeaways that Errol Spence, as you stated earlier, don't go straight backward. I know he was waiting to counter, like he was trying to time him, but you don't go straight backward. Like you circle around and you try to either counter with a hook and pivot at the same time, and then jab. So I feel like he could have did things a little different. But like I stated, I believe that was due to Errol being offensively minded and just want to stick to the game plan that they had previously, which is just go forward. And that was working. So they were like, man, let's just stick to it. And we probably tire them out because they were landing great punches to the body. But still, you still got to make those adjustments during like the fight. You know, you don't have to fight your plan A, even if it's working, and you getting hit in the process. Hey, let me switch it up so I don't get hit, and I can still win the fight in a dominant fashion. You know, I get what you're saying.
I think that's the mark of a great fighter and an all-time great, is to being able to do that. During the fight, between rounds, making those adjustments. One thing I want to say, it was a split decision, but the true winners were the fans. It was a very enjoyable fight, and something that will be talked about for years to come.
For sure. So next topic at hand, your favorite fighter, Danny Garcia.
Don't go there.
He said he sees something in Errol Spence. Mm-hmm. So